Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Appreciate you tuning in. The title of this video is Living a Healthy Lifestyle is Not Boring. And the reason why I wanted to create this video is because I think so many of us can relate that we want to be a little bit healthier. We want to lose a little bit of weight. We want to therefore look better and feel better and have more energy, but we also don't want to restrict ourselves from living a fun lifestyle, right? And so I personally have always been into health and fitness, but I've never really had the results to show for it, both physically and mentally, because of a few minor things which I'll go through today. So in the last 6 to 9 months, there's been like a switch that has gone off in me, and it's a journey that I want to take you through and all my clients through as well, and essentially just tell you, like I said, that living a healthy lifestyle is not boring. And so my perception of living this healthy and prosperous lifestyle has changed, and I've done a few things differently. They haven't been groundbreaking things. They're super easy to implement and super easy to follow, and eventually we'll get the results that we've always wanted. So yeah, backstory, I used to think that living healthy was, crushing myself in the gym, trying to burn 1,000,000 calories and restricting myself food-wise to only eating tuna and chicken salads. And essentially we just think that living a lifestyle is very restrictive and it's boring, right? So in this video, I want to run through the key things that have changed for me. First things first, my perception of fun has changed. So through all of my 20s, and I don't like to look back with regret because I had amazing times when I was drinking and partying, funny as hell times, experiences, stories to talk with your mates and all that kind of good stuff. And so I don't look back on it with regret, but I used to think that not drinking was not fun, right? I was being boring. However, my perception of fun has now changed. I love mornings. I love waking up fresh. I love waking up with a clear head. I love waking up hydrated. And my ideal morning would be getting up early, getting some movement in. It doesn't have to be a dramatic workout, just going for like a nice walk or a hike. Any type of movement that just wakes my body up, wakes my mind up. And then, going for brunch with a friend or a group of friends and actually having a really good conversation and not feeling like you want to go to the toilet and throw up. And just enjoying the day, that is my perception of fun. And there are some people that can kind of get by on a hangover, and kudos to them. Me personally, when I have a hangover, the whole world's ending. Like my whole discipline will go out the window. I'll order fast food. I'll be in a really, really bad mood. And so for me, just the payoff just isn't worth it. So my perception of fun has changed. Like I said, I much prefer the morning time, the daytime, getting more out of the day than those few drinks in the bar the previous night before. Second is my relationship with food. So pretty much on a normal day, this is what I eat, right? I eat a few eggs with some sourdough toast, maybe. I will have my Greek yogurt with fruit and a bit of granola. And then for dinner, I'll have a steak or chicken or some type of meat with salad and maybe a little bit of rice as well. And then I'll also throw in a protein shake after dinner. But I'll also have maybe a cheeky biscuit with my peppermint tea, and I'll have a couple cubes of dark chocolate, kind of 80% and upwards, to allow me still that enjoyment, right, and that balance. Could I lose more weight if I didn't have that biscuit with my peppermint tea? Absolutely. But for me, that's not sustainable, because then I'll just get miserable and I don't want to miss out on the things that I enjoy, right? So it goes back to that old 80-20% rule, right? Enjoy 80% of your food, be healthy 80% of the time, and then enjoy to a certain degree, 20% of the time. So this is typically how I eat during the week. It's sustainable over the long term. I know it's healthy, so I'm going to remain a good weight. Like I said, could I lose more weight? Absolutely. But for me, over the long term, this is sustainable, and I've lost weight as a result because I'm not, miserable. I'm not stressed, and all that kind of good stuff, right? Third, better relationship with training. So as I alluded to at the start of the video, I used to do CrossFit like 5 or 6 times a week to drive, and I was burning 1,000,001 calories, right? Because it's super intense. I used to look at my Apple Watch and I was like, oh my God, I've burnt like 700 calories this hour. But in turn, what that would do is it would just make me super tired because, you're working out that much 5 or 6 times a week. It would make me super hungry. And that's not a good combination, right? To be tired and hungry, because once you're that and you're hangry, like your discipline goes out the window. You're like, oh, I need this food, I need that just to survive, right? And so and then my relationship with training, like I said, was really bad because I was using training as a tool for not enjoyment, but just trying to lose weight, just trying to burn off loads of calories. And so now I realised that you can't out-train a bad diet, right? Okay, it's great you burn 600, 700 calories, but you can easily eat that 600, 700 calories back, right, in one meal. And so now it's just lower steady state cardio. It's just more movement in general, right? It's ensuring I get 10 to 15,000 steps. Walking is an absolute game changer. Just more movement in general to keep the metabolism up, keep the calories burning throughout the day, is far more beneficial than destroying myself with a CrossFit workout in the morning and then sitting on my ass for the whole rest of the day because I feel like I've deserved it, right? Fourth is discipline. So eventually, after a few months, we'll get to this stage where it's essentially having the self-respect and discipline for me to not be so weak about caving into this food. I mean, some of this food wasn't even around like 50 years ago. So why can I not survive with this unhealthy fast food, right? And it's just showing myself like, okay, Bill, like, stop being so weak mentally and caving into this food. That's exactly what these big food companies want you to do. They want you to eat their fast food. They want you to get unhealthy. This is a whole nother topic. But so yeah, it's essentially just having the self-respect and discipline. And then also, as I alluded to earlier, the knowledge that when I'm eating bad food, I know I'm going to feel horrendous. So just don't, because I don't want to feel horrendous. So the definition of discipline, right, is, what is it again? It's there's loads of definitions, but a quote that I really like is doing things that your future self would like you to do versus not caving in to the short-term benefits of what you want now, kind of thing. Completely butchered that quote, but anyway, you kind of get what I mean. And the fifth is patience / turning it into a lifestyle, right? So, for example, if I was on a 30-day diet, and I would have a cheat meal, I'd feel horrendous because I'm like, oh my God, I've just had this cheat meal. I've only got 2.5 weeks left to get in really, really good shape. This meal's really, really going to affect me. And you put so much stress and stuff on yourself, right? And you get miserable and all that kind of stuff. Now, I had like a bunch of chicken tacos and nachos and all that kind of good stuff the other night, and I didn't feel guilty at all because there's no timeline that I'm working towards. I've not set myself a goal that I need to lose this much weight in 30 days. It's not a sprint, right? So it's transitioning to a patient mindset and knowing that, okay, in 6 months, I'm going to be in really, really good shape. And so I can afford this cheat meal because I've got 6 months away. And there's no goal setting or timeline. And I know people are in different positions and I don't necessarily have that much weight to lose, but it's just turning it into a lifestyle instead of using health as a tool or an avenue to get in really, really good shape and lose loads of weight. So I hope those 5 points made sense and that they were useful. Just to give an outro to the video, like I said, my my relationship with health has completely changed. Once we know that it's not boring and it's not restrictive, and yes, it might feel it at first because, you know, we all love a drink, and I still drink alcohol. You know, I still love a drink. I still love that social aspect of it and having a few drinks with my friends, my family, and all that kind of good stuff. I'm not putting pressure on myself or restricting myself from that enjoyment whatsoever. But now, like 95% of my life is geared towards being healthy because the benefits far outweigh the alcohol and the tasty, bad and fast food. You know, if we could drink and have fast food and still have the body that we wanted and the mental clarity we wanted, I'm sure we'd all do it, right? Like, best of both worlds. But can't have everything you want in life. You know, you do have to make a little bit of discipline and not even sacrifices, just, yeah. Once you start to realise that living healthy gives you all this energy, this mental clarity, better mood, better positivity, all of these things far outweigh those few drinks the evening before is essentially a good way to sum it up for me, 95% of the time. So I hope that was useful. Any comments, questions? This is a huge aspect that I help my clients with. So any questions, comments you want answered, please let me know. Happy to answer them below. Appreciate you tuning in. Take care. See you in the next video.